Hello friends, I am Muthu Palpola and I am working as a business intelligence consultant for past 7 years. I have experience related to SQL development, data warehousing, data visualization with Microsoft technologies like MS SQL Server, integration and analysis services, reporting services, Power BI, and Azure services like Data Factory, Databricks, Data Warehouse, and Database. Currently, I am looking into data science and machine learning concepts. Today, I am going to share my learning and experience about it. Today, my topic is how to do a simple weather forecast using Python on Power BI. This idea came to my mind when I was in Melbourne, Australia. Melbourne weather is changing quickly and forecasting it not very easy thing, but they able to give 90% accurate with the forecast. They have all the historical information maintained and also published in the internet, and I'm going to access that data using Power BI. Here I'm going to use Python to build the forecast model using exponential smoothing algorithm. In first case, you need to install Power BI desktop on your machine because we are going to extract that historical weather information through Power BI, and let's see how to do it. Open Power BI desktop application that you install on your machines, and during that time we can get information from website. It's Australian government weather website called www.vom.gov.au. Here you can get all weather related information from its website related to Australia, and here they provide an option that climate data online. From this option we can get information or the data related to weather. Now there's 4 options related to weather and climate, rainfall, temperature, solar exposure. Here in my scenario I'm going to select rainfall, and I'm going to do a forecast on rainfall, and also I'm going to select daily basis information, and here I'm going to select Moorabin. Moorabin is very close to Melbourne City, and here let's select on location. Let's select the first option, and let's select Caulfield or the Moorabin Air Port, and to select it show the data distribution through the years. Now 1952 currently we have a good data population here, and I'm going to select 2018, and let's get data. Okay, now you can see this table, and here you can see all the days, and here you can see all the months, and this for 2018. Just copy this URL and go to the Power BI desktop application, right? And here you can see the get data option, and from this option we can get information from SQL Server, analysis service, and also we have an option called web. Now click that option, and you can paste that URL and click OK. And it will show 3 tables from this website. The first thing is document. No, we don't want that. And then summary and the statistics. That summary from that main table. We don't want that, and we will select the last table. Now we can see the date and the information. Now we can't use this web table as it is because we need to do some transformation, and we need to convert this date into a proper date format. To do that we have to select this transform data option. Here I'm going to use Power Query and that related options that are available in Power BI to transform this data. Let's see how to do it. Okay, let's look at how to do the data transformation. Now, in first column, you can see this 2018. I'm going to change this column name as day because most of the information in this column is related to date. Now you can see 10th, 11th, 12th like that. But here you can see other text information like this graph, highest daily and monthly total. I'm going to remove these text values and I'm going to keep only the date information in this column. And also we need to rename these column names. Right now you can see Jan Feb. Now it's actually related to 2018. I'm going to rename this column like this way, 2018-01, and I'm going to rename this column as 2802. Like that way we need to change all the columns. Okay, like that way we need to rename all the columns up to December. And I'm going to unpivot these columns because I want to get all this year month information into row level. How to do it? We need to select all these column year month columns and clicking this option unpivot columns, you can get all this year month information into row level. Now let's rename this as month, and I'm going to rename change the type of value. Now it's in text ABC. If you go to the transformation tab, you can see data type is text. I'm going to change it into decimal. And also we can replace and we can remove errors. If there are any errors, we can remove them. And also we can replace values. If there are any null values, I'm going to replace them by 0. And also I'm going to add a custom column to concatenate both these two columns, year, month and day, to create a proper date column. To do it, I'm going to add the custom column, and here I'm going to use this logic. Now here you can see this year month column, and based on the length of day, this column, if it is 3, add a additional 0, otherwise keep as it is, because in first second, like that way, we need to add a additional 0 front of this first digit. Now to take this first digit, we have to use this text start function. It's like in SQL, it's like a left function. And also yeah, if it is left one, if it take only first digit. Now here if it is start, it will take only first digit, like this way. And also here, if it is more than 3, that means greater than 9. If it is 10th, 11th or up to 31st, the length will be 4. In that case, take first 2 digit start and the two digit, that means in that case it will take 10th, 11th up to 31st. And here we need to add if it is less than 4, we need to add additional 0. Okay, let's check on that logic. Okay, now we can have a proper formatted date here. I'm going to rename this column as date, and here our format is YYY, MM and DD. Okay, now we have a proper formatted date column with us in our solution. And also I'm going to add another custom column to format this date into an integer format. To do that, I have to replace these dashes from spaces. Here I'm going to add another custom column, and also I'm going to rename this one as YYYMMDD. Now it's actually converted into a number format. Let's see. Okay, now you can see it's in a number format, and also I'm going to change the type into a bool number, as we can say it is integer number. Right, our first data transformation completed, but the 2018, now here you can see we have only 1 year 2018 information, but it's not enough to build or train a forecast model. At least we need to have 5 years information. Now here, to get 5 year information, we need to follow all these steps, and we need to transform information for another 4 years, but it will take bit time, and I think it's a bit hard to do it, repeat same step. Now what we easily there's a step, it's easy step to do it, that we can get this script for these steps, and we can replace this year by another year. Now to do that, what we need to do, we have to go to the home tab, and we can get this advanced editor tab and click it. Then you can get this script. Actually this is Power Query script that cover all the steps that we did, adding custom columns, renaming, changing times, all the steps covered here. What we need to do is we need to copy this code, and we can paste here, and we can change the year. Now it's 2018. Now we can change this year to 2017. Just replace it, and okay. And what we need to do is, now I'm going to rename this table like rainfall 2018, and I'm going to copy this one and paste it. Now we can have the same copy of 2018, and I'm going to rename it as 2017, and I'm going to replace this code by 2017 code. Now we have 2018. If you go to this table, you can see the 2018 information, and I'm going to replace it by 2017. Let's check. Okay, it's changed, right? Now like that way we can add more years. Now I'm going to add the information up to 2000, and that means we can have close to 20 years information. And let's complete that step. Okay, I followed same steps, and I added the 19 data sets up to 2000, year 2000, and also we can have 2019 also in this data set in model, up to August 2019 August data available in web table in this website. And altogether we have 19 tables. This is enough to train forecast model, but here we need to do additional step, that we need to merge, or sorry, not merge, it's actually append all these data set as one. That means in a SQL language, we need to union all these data sets, and we need to create a one data set. To do that, here we can have this append query option. Here I'm going to use this table, 2019 current table, and I'm going to append all other tables into this data set. To do that, we need to select not two tables option, 3 or more tables, and we need to add one by one table up to 2000. Okay, now all the tables added. Now we can create one single data set. Okay, now if you go to this year month column, you can see year 2000 and 2002, like that way up to 2019. Now just click OK, and we can rename this table as daily rainfall from 2000 to, let's say, 2019. Okay, this is our final data set. Now we can close and apply these changes to data model. Just click it, and now it's refreshing and applying all the steps that we completed into the model. Okay, now we can see all the tables, the data sets now available in the Power BI visual area, and we don't want to see this information now because we actually append and all the union all the data sets into this table. Actually, this table contain 2019 information, and we can append all the other table information into this table, 2019 table, and we renamed it as a daily sale rainfall from 2000 to 2019. Just we can remove these things from here. If you have to go to this tab, data tab, and you can simply hide from the report view like this way. Okay, and all right, now we hide all the other tables from the report view. Now you can't see other tables. Now we have only one table, daily sales, daily rainfall, this table. Now we have another validation to complete, because now in this table we have, if you go to this data tab, you can see we can have this date format. Now we need to ensure that this date is in correct and properly formatted, and correct date, valid date format. To do it, we need to do a validation. To do that, we need to export a calendar information into Power BI model. We can import that information in several sources, but here I'm going to use a CSV file to do it. And here you can see this is my CSV file, date dim from 2000 to 2020, and here you can see the date. This is the validated valid date format, and from 2000 January 1st to up to year 2020 January 31st. And also we can have integer column also, and also we can have the year. And I'm going to validate this date against our data set. And this purpose of this having this integer formatted thing column to validate this date against this date, because sometimes we if there are any case we cannot convert this format, this date into a correct date format. It will raise, or it will give an give errors. To avoid that case, I converted that this format into the integer numeric format, and also in CSV I have correct the formatted date set for the calendar and with the integer format. Then I'm going to compare this data set, this column with this column. Then it will match, and it will identify the error records, and then easily we can remove them. Okay, let's see how to do it. Okay, now we can do the validation part. To do that, now I show you this CSV file. You can just open Excel, and you can generate this data from once you drag once you type this like this way, and you can drag it up to 2020, and you can create based on that information. You can create this date int format, and also here. Now I'm going to extract that information or the import. Now once how I can do it, that I can select this get data option, and our format is text and CSV. Yeah, in my desktop I have this YouTube video, and here you can see this CSV file. Just click it, and it will import that data set into Power BI model. I can see this date in here. Just click load. Okay, it's done. And what we can do is we can do some formatting here. Now we can see this date int, and here it's with the summation symbol. Now we can change it. Now date dim. Now what we can do is we can change this date time format. Say it's already in this format, and now we select default summarization is some, but we cannot. We can set it as do not summarize, and also for the year. And also we can go to the dataset, main dataset, here summarization, and here also we can set for the default it's set for the do not summarization. Okay, it's done. Now we can do our validation part. To do that, we need to go to the edit queries, that the place that we are using to do the data transformation. Okay, let's now here we can see our main dataset, daily rainfall dataset, and also our date dimension, or the date dataset, calendar dataset. Now we need to do validation between this column and this column. Okay, now I'm going to validate these two tables. Now make sure that our integer table, this in column, that date in integer format, it in correct format. Now here you can see it's in the whole number. That means actually it's a kind of an integer format. And also date dimension, this column also in need to be in whole number or the integer format. Now I am going to copy this table, our date dimension table, and I'm going to create a copy of that table. Right now I'm going to do the validation with this table, and I will take this table as a primary table. And here I have option called merge queries, and click it. Now we can see our date table, date dimension, copy of date dimension as the primary table, and then we can select the daily the rainfall information table from 2000 to 2019. And here we can use join as left outer join. Then it will remove all invalid records from this table, the rainfall table. Then we can get all the valid records from this table. Okay, just we need to select the columns. Here I'm going to select this one, and also this one. I'm going to going to join these two tables using left outer join. Okay, now click this option and select only the value. We don't want other columns, because same information actually repeat here. Now we can have this daily rainfall information, the value. Yeah, I'm going to rename it as let's say daily rainfall amount. Okay, it's done, and you can see. Okay, now we can see values, and also we have null values here. We can replace those null values by 0. Okay, it's done. And now we can hide this table from, because we don't want it. How, no, we can't do that here. Now we can rename this table as daily rainfall. Let's keep it like that way, because we cannot add here, because it will not allow to use the same name. Okay, done. Now just close and apply. Okay, all transformation completed. Now we can have three tables: daily rainfall table, and also this main table and the date dimension. We don't want this table because right now we have validated table with us, and we can just remove that table from here. Just we can hide from the report view. Okay, now we can have two tables. Now we can export this dataset uh, and we can use that dataset as our primary source for our forecast model. Let's see how to do it. Now just click table. Before that we can visualize this information data. Now to do it we have to create a relationship with the date dimension. Okay, it already created here. You can see there's a one-to-one relationship between the date int and int. Now we don't want that one, because if you want to get some same period last year information, we need to do the join between the proper date format, not with this integer format. Just delete this one. Okay, and go to data tab, and we can format. Now we can have date, and let's check our dim date. Yeah, in the proper date format we can just use that date to this date. Yes, now it's one-to-one relationship. Let's save it, and here I saved my my data file or Power BI dataset file as rainfall Moorabin, because we selected the place as Moorabin in to extract information. Okay, let's go to our visualization area, and here we can create a measure for the last year same period. Now you can right click on this data set, main data set, and let's name it last year same period, LISP. Calculate. Now we can have daily rainfall amount. So you have to sum it, and daily sales rainfall amount same period last year, and named it date. But I think we missed a step. To calculate this time intelligence thing, we need to mark our calendar as a date table. To do it, we need to select it, and we have to mark it as a date table, and here we need to select the date. Otherwise we cannot do that calculation. Now it will change the type, and right now this calendar table acting as a date table in this Power BI model, and then it enable us to calculate this last year same period calculation, right? This measure. Okay, now we create that measure. Now we can do the data visualization, and also if we go to data area, now in the calendar table we can have date and year. Now it's, I think, better if we can have year and month combination to visualize the information. For that I will add new column. Let's say year month. Format date, and let's say YYY dash short month name. see a month, you can see the float month name. And also we need to sort this one, and to sort it we need to get a month number. I will add another column for the month number. Let's say format. No need to use format, you can simply extract month number from this function. Okay, and now it's sort by month number, and we can sort this year month by month number. Okay, it's done. Save it. Go to visualization tab. Now you can select, let's select this line chart and select year month and select this amount and also this amount. Now we can see the last year same period, and also we can have that two line charts, and we select 1 year. Let's add a slicer and let's select year. Select 2019. Okay. Okay, now we can see the last year same period information. Now in the 2019 January compared with 2018 January, the last year same period in Moorabin area, I think you can compare that 64 millimeter rain had that time, but compared to this year it's quite large, but this year it's actually small amount. Now but once come to this June, May, June, July, actually there's a pattern that's actually it's kind of a close, but not actually it's not gap is actually be a bit high. Okay, let's check our forecast value with this information, this year information, last year information, and also we can draw a forecast line also. Let's see how to do it. Okay, let's start to work on build forecast model. To do it, we need to export this data set into CSV file, because I'm going to use the CSV file as main source for forecast model. Here I'm going to use Jupyter Notebooks to build Python model and train it. It's free. Once you install, download and install Anaconda, you will able to work with Jupyter Notebooks. Okay, in first step, I'm going to export this data set into CSV file. Therefore that I will select this table format, and I will select the date, and then the date from the date dimension, and the daily rainfall amount. Okay, now we can have that information, and here you can have the export option, and you can export, and I have already exported version. I'm going to replace it, rainfall CSV file. Okay, it's done, and then we need to open a Jupyter Notebook, and we need to build Python model. Okay, let's see how to do it. Okay, once you exported that dataset into a folder, you can open it. Here we can have only 2 columns, date and daily rainfall amount. You need to make sure that the date is in correct formatted way. That means it should be a valid date, and also daily rainfall format or any other measure should be in numeric format. You cannot have garbage values or invalid information data in this sheet. Okay, in previously I mentioned that here I'm going to use Jupyter Notebooks to build a Python model. Now here you can see the model that I already scripted. And now in first case that we need to import the libraries to do the data manipulation and calculations, and also here I also import the matplotlib file, but we don't want here, but we can use this one for our data visualization. for data visualization also. Now here I created rainfall MOR Moorabin as a data set, or the data set, and here you can see the pd.read CSV. This function you can use to read the CSV file. Now my CSV file in YouTube folder in my desktop, and it will read and import the data into this data set. Okay, let's run this one, and you can see this. Okay, it's done, and we can visualize that information. Let's insert a cell below here. Dot head. Let's say 5. Okay, now we can have 5 records, top 5 records here, and after that we need to format the date, this date into this date file format, a date time 64 format, and also we need to set that date as the index of the table, and also we need to set the frequency as D means daily. That means each and every date the frequency should be daily, that you cannot have gaps between this date. That means you can't have let's say you have January 1st but you don't have 2nd, like that way. You need to maintain a proper sequence. That's why I used date dimension for my date dimension date for my main data set, because it contain all the dates for the period, available for the period. And once you execute this one, it will format this data set. Okay, we can visualize it. Let's take head function. Let's take 5 records. Okay, now you can see now it's actually formatted. Now you can see as the data as index. Now it's done. And in this to train this forecast model, we need to split data. Now we are going to forecast the rainfall. That means right now we are in September of 2019. Now in my in previously I mentioned that in 2019 dataset we can have we able to get only up to August. Now we have to forecast September and then upwards, like up to 2020. Now here I am going to split data set that from 2000 to 2019 August as the train data set, and test data set I'm going to use 2019 September to 2020 December. To do it, we can use this iLoc option. Now we have this rainfall dataset, and using this iLoc option, we can identify the correct location and we can split that dataset. Now, once we execute this one, now let's check this dataset function. Now this is the train. Train means that we are going to use all the historical information, and test that here we are going to use future dates. Now let's take head and first 2 records. Okay, now we can have from 2019 September 1st to up and future dates. And okay, now I'm going to use exponential smoothing model to train this and build the model, forecast model. Now once we talk about exponential smoothing, it's a big algorithm, and it has more what you call parameters. Now if you search in about exponential smoothing in stats model, you can get information about it, and what are the parameters, how it's work, what are the calculations behind it, everything from this website, right? And here we need to import a stats model exponential smoothing method. Now this is how we can import that method, and here I'm going to train the exponential smoothing algorithm using our trained dataset. That means from 2000 to up to 2019 August. And also I had trained as ad and seasonal also set as ad, and also seasonal period for entire year. Now you can change these parameters and you can try it, and also there are several other parameters for this algorithm, but here I'm going to use basic steps, basic or the default parameters we need to add. Okay, and then after that, once the model trained, then I'm going to pass our test data set, that means future data dates, and I'm going to get the forecast for that dates. Okay, let's execute this part. Now you can see it's running. It will take little time because we have 10-year information. It needs time to train the model. Okay, model train completed. Now we can visualize data set. Now let's insert and save, and let's take top 5 records. Yes, right now we can have top 5 records to some September information. Okay, let's export this output into a CSV file. Now to do it, we can use this to CSV option and from dataset, and we can export export that dataset into our folder. Let's run it. Okay, it's done. Now we can import that dataset into our Power BI model. Now this is our data visualization, or the line graph from this daily rainfall or the historical information dataset. Now we are going to import our forecast dataset. To do it, we need to use the get function and then text CSV file, and here I'm going to select forecast. Okay, and then we can load that information into our Power BI model. Okay, now we can have 2 columns, date and the value, and we need to rename these columns. Go to data tab and select forecast. Here we can select date, and then you can set this column for forecast value. Let's say forecast value. Okay, and we need to, next step is we need to build a relationship between data dimension and this data set. Now here you can see our date dimension and daily rainfall relationship, but we need to create forecast data set also. Now here you can select, okay, we can create the relationship between forecast and date dimension. Okay, now we created the one-to-one mapping here. Okay, let's go to the visualization area. Okay, now we have the forecast value here. Now we can just select this visual and we can select this forecast value. Okay, now we can see, now compared to this year, now the forecast is actually getting reduced for this year. We cannot actually say about it, but anyway, there's no big difference between the last year same period and this year and with the forecast. That means we can assume that this value can be accurate, but here we used actually a simple method to do the forecasting. Actually we need to do a lot of steps and a lot of formattings, data cleansing parts to do this, but here we use simple steps to do demonstrate how to build a simple forecasting model. But in advance, if you use ARIMA, the RIMA model, you can get more accurate values for the forecast. But anyway, this is the simple way to build a forecast model. I think you get an idea. I think you will get an idea how to start with data science and forecasting. Okay, this is the end of this video session, and I think end of this after this watching this video, you can get an idea about how to import web table into Power BI and transform data, and also how to prepare a data set for a forecast process, for a machine learning process, because we cannot just pass a data set and we cannot train a model, because we need to ensure that the data is properly formatted and valid information. For example, in our model, we need to ensure that the date is a valid date, and also the value should be in proper format. For we cannot have null values in our data set. And third one is that I think you can get an idea about how to build a forecast model, simple forecast model using Python. In exponential smoothing, there are several other parameters also you can try out, and you can get an accurate figures for forecast. Okay, thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day.